Hey booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. As many of you know, if you've been watching my channel, I have been trying to come up with a high priority TBR for 2024. I can't seem to narrow it down to 24 books. So I just want to show you some of the books. Some of them I'm definitely going to read in 2024, and then there's kind of an extra pile of possibilities. There's so many people who are new to my channel, new subscribers, or maybe haven't quite decided yet whether or not you want to subscribe to my channel. But I thought this might be a good way for you to get a sense of what I am thinking about reading in 2024. I'm gonna kind of do this based on my goals. Although one of my goals is to try to read books that I have hauled in the last 5 years, or last 5.5 years since I've been on booktube. That's 80 books. There's more than that, but I've read some of them, fortunately. So obviously I'm not going to read 80 books in 2024. A lot of these books are things that I have hauled within the last 5.5 years. Okay, so the first one we've already talked about, and that is series. And that I have some series. I'm in the midst of some series. I'm like, maybe we can just try to further that a little bit this year. And so the biggie, this is my number one priority, is to finish reading The Barsetshire Chronicles by Anthony Trollope, Framley Parsonage, Small House at Allington, and The Last Chronicle of Barset. This is my number one goal for 2024. However long it takes me to read these, that's just how it is. I will read these and I will finish them before the year is up. Even if I only read 3 books this year, it's going to be those 3. So the other series that I would like to kind of chip away at maybe, and again, some of these are just kind of possibilities. I talked about the Chronicles of Prydain. It's a 5 book series, and I read them before, but it's been quite a while. I read them as an adult, but they're middle grade kind of books. I enjoyed them. I was gonna just keep like one going put on my nightstand, but the type font is a little bit smaller than I thought, so not sure. I'm not sure about that. The next one is Smiley's People by John le Carré, and so I have read Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and The Honorable Schoolboy. So this is one I really like to return to these books. I'm a huge John le Carré fan. I like stories about spies, and so it would be great to get to this. These are not, they're not fluff. They definitely take quite a bit of attention and time, but it would be great if I could get back to this. In 2023, I started the Amy LeDuc series by Cara Black, which was Murder in the Marais, and so I have the second one here, Murder in Belleville. So these mysteries all take place in a different neighborhood in Paris, and I did enjoy the first one. It's still kind of like in my mind, and so I would definitely like to get at least one. I think I have 4 that I haven't read. I don't know that I want to read the whole series because, oh my god, there's like 16 books or something like that. So, but if I could just read the books that I have and then decide what to do with them. So that's kind of the series part of my goal. I have tried to think about events that I'm going to be participating in in 2024. So I have a couple books for Jane Austen July. I didn't read any Jane Austen last year, so there will be a Jane Austen book obviously with this. I don't know which one, but I've got The Genius of Jane Austen by Paula Byrne. I really wanted to read this last year and I didn't get to it. And this year I also bought, sometimes one of the prompts is to read another novel set in the Regency period, and so I bought Evelina by Fanny Burney, and I've heard lots of good things about this. I bought this on eBay. It's, you know, it's in slightly rough shape or whatever, but anyway, I've never had anything available for that prompt, and so even if it's not a prompt this year, I'd like to read it. I would also like to read 6 Shakespeare plays or books about Shakespeare. I am a host of Shaktember, which is every September we celebrate Shakespeare and read some plays and talk about them, and I love it so much. I was a host for the first time this year. It's my favorite event on BookTube. I don't know what plays we're going to be reading yet, obviously, but a couple books that I have hauled, a couple Shakespeare plays that I've hauled, so I would probably want to read these first. One is Measure for Measure, which a couple of you have told me that you think I would really get a lot out of this play. And then the other one is Coriolanus, which is a little bit intimidating, but we must, just keep marching on. And then for nonfiction, I grabbed The Year of Lear, Shakespeare in 1606, and I got this for Christmas, I think last year. But yeah, in 1606, Shakespeare wrote King Lear, Macbeth, and Antony and Cleopatra. So it's quite a year. But anyway, so I'd kind of like to read this. We have so many books about Shakespeare. So like I said, 6 is kind of my goal. I did not meet that in 2023, but that would be great. Okay. All right, so now to the books that are just I've hauled and I've decided to make a high priority. The first one is the very first book I ever hauled on BookTube, and that's Light Years by James Salter. I'm sure I've read the back of this book before, but it's been a long time. I mean, it was 5.5 years ago when I got it. So, yeah, but this is the very first book I hauled, and so it seems like it's important to get to the oldest book. Another one, and this is where I'm like, well, yeah, of course you can do more than 24 if, you have Thrush Green by Miss Reed, and I have 3 books in this series, which makes me very, very happy, and they're all from people on BookTube, which is so sweet. So, I definitely feel like I could read the first Thrush Green, ideally in a perfect, this would also be a series. Ideally I'd like to read at least one more, but we'll see what happens. Another book that I recently got, this is a short story, I think it's 4 short stories, but it includes Babette's Feast, and this is by Isaac Dinesen. Her real name is Karen Blixen. She was a Danish author. She's most famous for Out of Africa, which I just recently bought. So, it's not here yet, but it's like the same kind of edition because I love these editions and we can't get them here. Another book I have hauled and plan to read, or definitely will be reading in 2024, is Lolly Willows by Sylvia Townsend Warner. I think this is kind of about witches. I'm not really sure. I try to go into things blind, but I'm very excited to read this book. Another one, this is a book I hauled from my parents' house. It is an Ancient Dover edition, so it's very ugly. But I'm gonna read Uncle Silas by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. I read a collection of his short stories this year, which I decided to keep because there's one more recent edition, but not much more. My mom says that this is the scariest book she ever read. The nice thing is, like, if I love Uncle Silas, if I love it, I know there's a newer Penguin edition, and so we can maybe replace the books. I am going to be reading H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald. This is a memoir, and so I've just heard so many great things about this book, so I'm excited to get to that. One of the books that booktube has really, an author that booktube has really made me excited about, even though I didn't like the first book that I read by him, which was To Beat His Harp, is Chaim Potok. So I'm going to be reading The Chosen. I do have the sequel to this one. Last year I read My Name is Asher Lev, which I loved. I think I need to change my rating on it because I think I only gave it 4 stars, but in my mind it's a 5-star book because it's just really stayed in my mind. I've been on the lookout for the sequel, but I have not purchased the sequel to that one yet. But I do really want to read The Chosen this year. Another book, this was a book I got for free from my public library. This is Fencing the Sky by James Galvin. James Galvin, I suppose you might consider him more of like a literary Western author, maybe similar to like Kent Harif. He wrote one of my favorite books about the West, which is called The Meadow. So I'm looking forward to reading something else by him because he does not have, I don't know how many novels he has, 3 tops. I also have Fox and I, An Uncommon Friendship by Catherine Raven. Again, this is a book I've heard so many great things about on booktube, and so I'm going to read this. And then another book I got, Rough Beauty, 40 Seasons of Mountain Living by Karen Ovanen. And yeah, like I'm wondering if this is a book that I could kind of like dip in and out of, not read it out of order, of course, but just kind of read it while I'm reading something else, maybe. I'm not sure, but I think I bought this after Jason and I finally went out in the public. Of course, we were still masked up, but when we were fully vaccinated, this is one of the books that I bought, and so yeah, I would like to get to that. Hi, this is Editing Kelly here. Of course, I forgot to mention another one of my high priority books, which is Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell. Elizabeth Gaskell and I have a rough relationship, although I'm pretty much willing to forgive everything because of North and South. I love North and South and Cranford, but yeah. But somebody told me they thought I would really enjoy Mary Barton, so I'm excited to read this as well in the year ahead. A few other books that are going to be on my high priority TBR that I did not haul. I owned before I started this channel, but I've owned them a long time. I feel like it is really time to get to them. The first one is Dreamers of the Day by Mary Doria Russell. Jason got this for me. I read another one of her books. I think it's The Sparrow, but Jason and I talked about it so much that we now call it Jesuits in Space, which is not the right thing to do. But this is one of those books that I'm like, maybe I could read it once and let go of. I'm not sure, so we'll see how I feel about it. I am very excited. This is a chunky book, but I'm very excited to read In This House of Bread by Rumer Godden. This is a series, Loyola Classics, and I own several of these books. They tend to be, have Catholic, the main character tends to be Catholic. They're not necessarily, I wouldn't put them in like the category of Christian fiction. They tend to be much more literary, and I have to read a Dickens book this year. So my Dickens book this year is going to be Hard Times. So that's like a rough overview, and then there's this other pile of books that I'm like, if I could get to that this year, it would be great. And again, these are all books that I have got in the last 5.5 years from various places. Nathaniel Hawthorne's The House of Seven Gables, Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier, excuse me. I have read Rebecca, but somebody on BookTube made this their #1 book of the year. Maybe it might have been last year, but yeah, so that's made, and I think I even found this in either my parents' house or a little free library. I know I didn't buy it. This is one I definitely did get from my parents. This is The Mystery of the Yellow Room by Gaston Leroux, who wrote The Phantom of the Opera, but this is like a closed room mystery. And it's short, although the type font is not huge. I do remember when I showed this on my channel, there were people who were like, oh, I'd like the copy of that. So once I read it, again, doesn't seem like the kind of book that I'm gonna hold on to. So I will, if I do read it this year, probably I will say, if anyone wants this book, just let me know. Another one, and this is on my nightstand right now, is Little Weirds by Jenny Slate. This is a collection of essays. They're short. The font size is fairly good size. I'm a big Jenny Slate fan, and so I would like to read this, and I think it would be good to read kind of in between other things. I don't think I need to read it, just all in one crunch. And then finally, so I recently, one of my coworkers recently left my workplace. She's the person in my entire career I have worked the longest with. And her Christmas gift to me was Mother Angelica's Private and Pithy Lessons from the Scriptures. I guess Mother Angelica had like a TV show. I'm not exactly sure. My friend gave it to me though, and so I really feel like I should read this and tell her what I think of it. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably not going to put that on the list, but it will be on my library cards right here. Tell me what you think. I will do my best to have my Goodreads page updated by the time you are watching this. But yeah, so I think I might have to rename my high priority TBR for 2024 and just not have it be 24 books, because there's just too many books that I want to read. So wish me luck, but tell me what you think of these books, if you've read any of them, if there's any you're dying to read, or you read long ago and it's still a favorite with you. I would love to hear your thoughts about this kind of mishmash of books. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, that's cool. You can leave an emoji or give this video a thumbs up just as a way to say hello. I do appreciate it. BookTube, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.